Hey guys, it's Maintenance Saturday. Today we're going to be working on the FJR. We've got an oil change and the final drive oil change. Here's what we're using: synthetic Mobil 1 for our oil change, and we have synthetic gear lubricant for the final drive. So for this you're going to need 17 mil ratchet, probably a breaker bar. The oil filter is easy to get at. I have a K&N on here. I'll be putting the Yamaha back on because I don't have another K&N. So let's give this a go. Alright, now your drain plug is right under here. I'm just going to use the breaker bar. So this oil change is pretty quick. This bike's really easy to work on. You will need your filter, a new crush washer, and actually I think there's a crush washer you need on the back too, which I don't have. So if nothing else, I may just change the oil out and hit the dealership and get a couple crush washers. So while that's draining, we'll go ahead and take off the filter. Alright. Alright. I did get it off. You can see I shredded that hex bolt there. So at the end, all I could use was channel locks to kind of force it off. So be wary about that if you go with K&N. Luckily, I had to use this K&N as an interim filter when I did my second change. I do have a spare Yamaha filter that I had in storage, so I am going to put that on instead of the K&N. One of the downsides I'm seeing here is that this rubber on the filter is actually stuck here now because of the heat. So you're definitely going to want to take a little time and get that off there, because that's something that'll keep you from getting a good seal when you put the new filter on. So you should have just bare metal. If you got any rubber in here, you got to get it out. So you can see I have just scraping it off with my fingernail, and I'll go and wipe through with a soft cloth, and that should take care of that. Alright, so I did clean up in there. I'm just waiting for the remainder of the oil to drain out. Trying to get this crush washer off. And I got a new one to put on. Unfortunately, this one doesn't want to come off. So that's a bummer. I'm just having a bummer with this bike today. This washer's pretty flat, so it does need to be replaced. Alright, so I finally got this old one off. It was kind of stuck to the top there, so I just took a wood screw and kind of popped it off, and there it is. Now you can see the difference here. Here's the new one, and there's the old one. The old one is considerably flat. So we'll go ahead and put the new one on. And it shall be like that. Let's see, actually. Alright, so there's our bolt with our new crush washer. We'll go ahead and install that. Alright, get that one screwed in. I'm going to clean up this oil, and then we'll go ahead and get the filter on. So I'm going to hand tighten this bolt. And then I'll ratchet down a bit. And wait for the crush washer to compress. And flip that. That's back on. We got our new filter here. And what you're going to want to do, and this isn't a complete solution to the problem, but it does help, is you want to fill this up with oil, and that way you already have oil kind of in the engine when you go to start it. And also what you can do is you can crank the engine a bit without starting it, just to help circulate some oil. And that way you don't have to worry about a dry start. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill this up a little. Now on the bikes, because of the mess, I try to just fill it up once and then get the oil to soak into the sidewall. So you can see it's kind of disappearing now, getting sucked into the filter. So yeah, it's pretty much empty now. I mean, besides what's in the filter bowl. So I'm going to add a little bit more because it feels light. And then you also want to take some of that oil and go around your seal there. Again, I'm just going to make sure I don't want it leaking down when I put it on. So that seems pretty good. I can hold it sideways. I'm going to come over here one more time and just make sure I got all this old rubber that was stuck on here. And I'm going to wipe up whatever I can get to on the engine before I put the filter back in place, because then I won't be able to get to it. Alrighty, it's looking pretty good. Alright, so now we're going to put this guy on. This filter may look different than yours because this is, I believe, possibly an older model one, but they are still compatible. Alright, so I just went and got a fresh rag so I could crank this down. Now remember, you gotta get this back off, so the harder you put it on, the harder you're gonna have to work, like I did for that K&N. And yeah, I did put that K&N, so that is my fault, but I kind of expected the filter to hold up a little better. Alright guys, so this FJR, this is the 2014. Obviously if you have an FJR you know, because it's the red one, 3rd gen. And this motor will take 4.2 quarts if you change the filter. So I already opened up my 1 quart here. I put some in the filter. So now we're just gonna fill this up the rest of the way. A longer filter would be useful. Let me see what I got here. Alright guys, I had to go get my other filter. And I know I'm going to say this in this video, and somebody's going to leave me a comment again about getting this bike up on the center stand. I just don't even try anymore because it's pain. And I'd be heartbroken if I dumped this thing trying to put it on the side stand or the center stand. So I don't even try anymore. So if you want to leave the comment, feel free, but probably not going to sway me too much at this point. Because to be honest with you, I really don't need it. There's very few times that I've needed to use that. Alright, so I'm just going to dump the rest of this in here. And then I'll go ahead and add 3 more. And then 1/5 of a quart. And we'll start it up and we'll run it for a couple minutes and then we'll check the oil level. And then after that, you're all done. You just need to kind of wipe up any mess you made and obviously put your tools away. Sir, can you hand me another bottle?
Yes, ma'am.
Watch what you're stepping on. Those are bike parts. These kids are so freaking careless.
Not me.
Yes, you are. You just stepped on my R1 plate.
I'm not.
What the hell's wrong with you, boy?
Here you go.
Thank you. Alright, so I'm on my second quart.
Yeah, yeah, real misty.
So my goal is to try and pour this in as fast as I can without anything coming out, and then that way, while it's still draining, I can dump out the rest of the bottle. Alright. So that way, while the funnel's emptying out, I'm still getting the oil out of the container that I hate so much to sit and wait for. Thank you. You want to crack it open for me? Alright, and then take that cap and put it on that one. Alright, now we're on 3 here.
So how many did you say?
4.2, so we're going to need one more. And then a little bit of the... Actually, I think I might... Alright, so we'll be cracking open the other one. No big deal. So I'm curious to know what people's experiences are with this bike. I don't know if you can see the R1 here, but I have an R1 and I have a 600 on the other side. So the FJR for me is more of a cruising bike, and when I don't want to be, or when I don't want a physical workout, I drive this bike. But I'm just curious what other people's thoughts are, and I'm especially curious on the newer models with the 6th gear. Now, this is a 2014. Is it worth it to me as a sport bike rider to get this bike with 6th gear? Let me know your thoughts. Alright, so that completes 4.
And then you need another 0.2. Okay, there we go.
Ooh. Oops. Alright, so just look at this. We want to come down to 800. That'll be 1/5 of a quart. Okay?
That is 0.2.
That should do it.
Yay. Alright, now it's time to go behind the scenes again.
I love when this bike, well, any bike has a fresh oil change. It just feels like a new bike, especially if there wasn't anything wrong with it when you started.
Well, let's give it a test run then.
Alright, so I'm just gonna seal all this back up here, and we'll do the final drive oil, but I believe I need another crush washer that I don't have. So I'm just gonna come around here and do a little cleanup. I still have oil that leaked on the ground over here, so I'll probably be leaking it for a little bit. Now, this is my 3rd oil change. You can see the oil's pretty nasty looking, so, you know, depending on how you ride. I did drive this cross country, and when I got here I changed oil, so I don't believe that this oil change had more than 2,000 miles on it. But as you can see how dirty it was, you know, when I think the capacity on this is 5 point something quarts. So I mean, there's basically a quart that's stuck in the engine every time you change your oil. So, you know, more often you do that, the more you're gonna get that 80-20 mix off a little better. Maybe more like 90-10 or 95-5. New oil versus old oil. So that is the FJR oil change. You got your drain bolt right down here. You got your filter right there and your fill right there. So I mean, this is a super easy bike to work on, and you know, change your oil often.